I don't know if you can see that, but he is casually spying on us. Oh, good burp. Good job. Welcome. My name is Eldon Brooks. I'm a creative wannabe and a mental health advocate. Nothing crazy this week. Just going to share some of the projects I'm working on and kind of a status update. And yeah, first of all, this project, my wife and I just had a new baby this past month. So we've been loving our time with him. Small, cuddly, lots of dark black hair, super fun. And I don't ever make anything perfect, but this is the closest thing that I've come to is our family here. So I tried to burp him earlier and I thought that was all he needed, but he just needed to come down here and do it on camera for us. So that's nice. Anyway, the big project I'm working on right now is a novel. This is actually, I had started a new novel this year and my goal was to finish a draft of it, and I still intend to do that. However, I had previously finished a draft of a novel, and that is currently what I'm working on. I'm editing that. Basically, I had a day a couple weeks ago and I was like, you know what? I want to finish that book. And so I went through and I printed it out, and it is chunky. I don't know if you can see that on camera. There you go. This is my debut novel, potentially, or maybe just a piece of trash. Yeah, I printed it out and tried to read through it kind of like all at once. It did take a few days, but I tried to read through it pretty close together so I can get a feel for the pacing and kind of how it reads overall as like a one book. And so anyway, while I was reading through it, I marked it up with a red pen and I'm working on going through and making those edits. And then the other thing I want to do is I've been learning more about dialogue and different ways to include, action tags versus regular attribution and different things like that, and different ways to kind of control maybe the subtext of the scene and the pacing of the scene a little bit better. Anyway, this is the timeline. So I printed it out, I went through it, marked it up with a red pen, and I'm making those edits. And then I want to go through a dialogue pass, looking at just the dialogue scenes. Can I strengthen this? Then I want to read through it out loud and kind of get a feel for, did I mess it up too much or does it still flow? Is it okay? And then, yeah, then it's like send it to friends, get a proofread, something like that. So a history of this book, I started it several years ago and I've been working on it on and off. At some point I started over from a new perspective and then scrapped that new perspective and went back to the original perspective. I've had a developmental edit and then also a regular copy edit, and I don't know what all I need to do right now to get it to the best that I can get it, but right now I'm working through these steps as I try and figure out, like, is it good enough to try and pursue. And for me right now, like, part of the issue is you only know so much as a writer, and so it's like, yeah, this is pretty good, but I am so close to it, and also like I don't know enough to know if it's not good yet. So I feel like this is maybe like I'm going to do this pass of dialogue edits and that is going to be as good as I can get it on my own. And then I get outside feedback. What do they say? How can I improve it? Maybe get another editor to kind of go through and see. The good news is overall I like it and I'm not making huge structural changes. For the most part, it's like small kind of maybe little nuances or some little things about sentences and paragraphs. Nothing huge or crazy where I'm having to break apart big, huge scenes. There are some paragraphs that I was deleting or adding, just depending on the flow of it and kind of wanting to add some maybe emphasis or description or kind of little hints at things that are to come or whatever. And overall, I like it, which is really exciting because it sucks if you write a project and hate it and don't necessarily know how to make it something that you love. So I like it so far, and I feel like I've improved a lot over the course of writing this book. I feel like I've gotten much better, much more confident, and I've developed my voice a little bit better as I've been writing this book. And so I hope that as I do these passes of edits for this book, it'll improve my chances at writing a decent first draft of my next book. Yeah, I wanna make a writing video about my favorite pieces of writing advice. I've been listening to writing advice on YouTube and books and all these different places for probably 10 plus years. My first novella that I wrote was 2016. It was about 40,000 words. It was not very good, but it was the biggest project that I had accomplished at that time, at least as far as writing projects go. And so I was very proud of myself, like, oh, I did it, let's keep it going. Since then, I've written a handful of more novellas, and I think novellas are a great place to start if you're a new writer. It gives you a chance to experiment, try different things, different genres, different point of view, whatever, and you can experiment, and just the editing process and the writing process is faster. Most of the time, so there's just less to write. And so I think it's a great way to practice. You can practice different outlining techniques, try, pantsing it and whatever. And as I've been doing these different novellas as a form of like improving my craft and developing my style, I feel like I've learned a lot of the ways that I work as I'm trying to write. So it's been super helpful and super fun, even though most of them are not great. Some of them I think are worth salvaging or maybe converting into a novel. And it is what it is at this point, but I do intend to go back to at least one, maybe two. Most of them, however, are just part of the learning process. The best way to get better at writing is to write. There's a lot of feedback that you can get. There's a lot of, books that you can read, videos that you can watch. But in the same way that listening to music doesn't make you a musician, you can only ingest so much. The real growth comes from writing. And so that's kind of my goal right now. So overall, I like this current draft. I feel like it's pretty strong, and I have some things already that I think will make it stronger. And then it's a matter of sending to other people to get some real feedback, because it's as good as I can get it, I think. And so, as you get better at writing, as you improve in your skill set and with the tools that you have and storytelling and all these different things, as you improve, then you look back on old projects, you're like, wow, these are not as good as I thought they were. But at my current skill level, where I'm currently at with writing, this is about as good as I can get it. So I'm gonna do these couple more passes, and then hopefully I'll have a nice solid draft to send to people and kind of get some feedback. And then from there, it's like, okay, now what do I do? And I keep going back and forth of just shoot for traditional publishing or bust, and that is an ego thing for me more than anything else. Or I go self-publishing, and it's like, yeah, either way I'm gonna have to do a lot of the marketing. I'm like, just self-publish, you make more per book. And I go back and forth of like, okay, but I want to pass the gatekeepers. Or, yeah, but I want to make money on this book. And then I just kind of go back and forth, and I've been waffling for a while. And so what I think I'll do is give myself a timeline. I'm gonna query agents for this long. If no one picks it up, then I'll self-publish it. Or someone picks it up, I'm gonna let them try and get it published for this long or whatever. I'll give myself a window, and if I'm outside that window, all right, matters fall into your own hands, make it happen. Yeah, hi Ben. Yeah, I intend to make a video about some of my favorite writing advice. I might have to do a series of videos just because there's a lot of things that I'll think about, and I'll think of them later too. But I've been compiling a list of my favorite pieces of writing advice from the last several years and intend to make a video for that. At some point, I intend to do a video about this book. I'm kind of waiting for it to be farther along. I don't know what that means, but I just kind of want to have a more solid foundation, and then maybe do like, here's the cover, here's the plot, or maybe like the log line or something, here's a synopsis, whatever, and try to make a video kind of presenting it, and then see just what people think. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, follow along and let's get better together. Thanks for watching.